Hello? Can you guys hear me and see me? Yay! I don't know what was happening before, but it wasn't working. I'm so sad. So I think we're good now then. I'm not sure what was wrong before. Oh my goodness. So if some of you were in the private live stream, just barely, I couldn't get the video to work. I'm so sorry. I don't know what happened, but it's working now. Thank goodness. So, whew, okay. Awesome. Let's see. Thanks so much for being here, you guys. I sure appreciate that. And for those who have donated today and this week, thank you so much. We are so close to our goal. I set my goal for, so if you don't know what I'm talking about, I am doing a fundraiser to raise money for the Alzheimer's Association. For today is the longest day. So it's on the summer solstice, which is the longest day, but the day with the most light. So we are shining a light on Alzheimer's today and doing some fundraising, and hopefully we can hit our goal. So I set the goal at $2,000. When I last looked, we were at $1,800. So we're so close. And I did put the link to donate in the description of this video. So if you have not done so already, that would be so cool if we hit our goal while we were doing this live stream. Oh my gosh, that would be amazing. There was a kitty behind me, you're right. Oh, thanks so much, you guys. So, let's see. Thank you. My flowers are from my friend Sarah. She is at Pinup Curl, and she does the most amazing hair flowers and corsage. So pretty. I am wearing purple today because purple is the color for Alzheimer's awareness. So that is why I have, and I had to wear my glasses so I can see what you guys are typing. Let's see. Okay. Oh, hi, Lindsay. Hi, Elizabeth. Thanks so much for being here, you guys. Let's see. I'll try to answer a few questions and then we will get into some amazing stories. So let's see. Somebody asked, when did you make the short movie, you and your hubby, and what was the outcome? Did you get in some festivals? So we made that short film just a few years ago, and we did get into some festivals, and we actually won a few festivals, most of them just local, but the biggest one was in Las Vegas, and it was a horror film festival, and we did get an award there, so that was a lot of fun. Oh, yes, Desi, thanks so much for being so understanding. I'm so sorry that didn't work in the private one. I will do my best. I don't know what happened there, but it was really stressful, and I'm a little bit sweaty. Oh, thanks so much, you guys. You guys are all so sweet for being here. Oh, thank you. Thank you, thank you. I'm trying to think. I know that there was some questions in the other chat that I didn't get to. Feel free to ask them again, and I will do my best to get to them. And if we go a little bit over this, for this live stream, that's okay. So let's see. Oh, technology, right? I know. I tried to test it. I've never done a live stream on YouTube before, so I tried to test it last night. I ended up switching to a different laptop, and I thought it was going to be fine, and it was not fine. But it's okay now, so that's good. Let's see. Oh, Alzheimer's runs in the family. Wendy, I was told at 20 that I would have it. Oh gosh. Oh, my heart goes out to you. It's in my family as well. So like I had mentioned about, if you've seen my other videos about my sweet grandma, she is suffering from dementia, Alzheimer's, and her sister had Alzheimer's as well and passed away from that. Just, oh gosh, I think it was just barely, it was just barely her anniversary of her death 3 years ago, I think. So yeah, my mom is already worried. Like, my mom is, let's see, I'm gonna out her. I think she's 63, and she is worried about having it. It's definitely a worry, but gosh, I don't know. I just hope that I hope that it just stops there with my grandma and none of the rest are affected. Oh, shoot. Okay, let's see. I think I missed a couple questions. Mrs. Maisel joke. Love it. Do you have... Okay, this question says, do you have all vintage stuff or do you like a bit of modern stuff? I have to have modern stuff just because you can't really survive in the world without it. So I definitely do have some modern things. Obviously I have a computer and a laptop. I have a phone. We have a dishwasher. Like, just, we do have modern conveniences for sure, along with like my vintage appliances and things like that. Plans for a new series of videos on your channel that you can share. So yes, I have so many ideas, you guys. I just wish that I had so much time to just make videos all the time. But unfortunately, like, you know, I do work full time. So I really only have time for like one video a week. Ugh, it's so hard. But so one series I thought would be fun is I wanted to do like a get ready through the decades. So I did a 20s video in January, and I would love to do like a 30s look, a 40s look, a 50s look, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, like clear through and just do a look for every era. I think that would be so much fun. I don't know, you guys can say if that's a good idea or not. But yeah, I'd love to do that kind of a series. Also, I love the vintage gadget series that I've been doing. I'm on the hunt for more vintage gadgets. I still have a few that I haven't tested yet for a video. So I have a few on the deck, but my husband had a fun idea, and it was for testing more like the guys' side of vintage gadgets. So like maybe a vintage, like a push lawnmower versus, oh, Alice, that's Alice. Like a push lawnmower versus like a new lawnmower or things like that, or maybe like some more like tools and stuff. And he said he would help me with that. So that might be fun. Let's see. Oh, also, I have commissioned my husband and son to help with some videos, some cooking videos. So I recently got a cookbook from my good friend Christina. She is on here on YouTube at the Air Effect, and she just recently gave me the cutest cookbook, and there's a section in it, and it's called food that men like, or dishes that men like. And so I was thinking it would be very fun to plan a menu out of that cookbook and then test it out and see if my husband and my son, the men, like it. I thought that would be kind of fun. Let's see. Do I do my own nails? No, I do not. I get them done. I can do them, but it takes forever, like hours. If I do it myself. So it's just much more worth it to me to just get them done. So, but yeah, thank you. I have kind of like a 30s manicure right now, 30s, 40s. question was when and how you got into vintage, favorite places to buy vintage. So I have actually answered this question in a few videos, but basically my love of the 1950s and vintage started early on. I'd always loved antiques. I've always loved history. And my grandparents kind of are what honed me in on the 1950s specifically because of their stories and that was their heyday time. And so that is what really kind of got me into the 1950s specifically. Favorite places to buy vintage. I love to thrift vintage if I can. Thrifting is my favorite place to find everything, really. But sometimes, I mean, it is hit and miss. It's a gamble. You never know what you're going to find. So this dress I actually just got on eBay. It was a very good deal. I think, let's see, this one was like $40, I believe, which is a really good deal for the shape that it's in. So yeah, eBay, Etsy, sometimes on Instagram, sale pages, but thrifting is my #1 favorite place to find it. Blueberries are good for Alzheimer's. Interesting. Well, I do drink green tea, so that's good. I know diet has a lot to do with your health in general. So that's, yeah, I don't know. That's always, I mean, it definitely couldn't hurt, right? Let's see this question. How's your grandfather dealing with your grandma being poorly? So that's a really tough subject. So I understand where he's coming from. He was trying to take care of my grandma one-on-one, and for him, it's almost like she's already gone, if that makes sense. Like the person that he was living with was not the person that he fell in love with and married and lived with for 60 years. And so it's almost like he's already been grieving, and it's like she's already gone. And it's heartbreaking to me to see that. He doesn't like to go visit her. And I know it's hard. I know it's hard for me. It's emotional for me to go every time because it's just like a constant grieving process. And so I think my grandpa's already kind of had that time to grieve and kind of almost move on, to be honest. And I, like I said, it's hard. I don't blame him, but it's very hard to see for sure. And I think it may be his own defense mechanism to protect his heart. Honestly, it's such a cruel disease. Ugh. My grandma is 83 years old. And I kind of mentioned in my other video, but like this last year or so is when she really just started to decline and it started to get hard. My record player this one is actually reproduction. I got it on Amazon. It's not old, it's just reproduction. I started to dress vintage some days. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Let's see. Oh, thanks so much, you guys. I'm just reading through these comments. How old was I? Oh, when I realized that I loved vintage, I've always loved it. I've always been so intrigued by anything that's like historic, anything old, antiques, and I always think about like what the people that had those things were like, and just kind of, I wish I could know, like who, like for this example, like this dress, what fabulous lady wore this before me, like 50, 60 years ago. Let's see. My grandfather had dementia. Devastating to see someone so well respected in the mindset he was in during his final days. You're right. They're a different person. They're not themselves at all, not even a shadow of themselves. Thanks so much, you guys. Cindy, your husband wears vintage too? Yes, he does. My husband is a small engine mechanic for his day job, so he does not wear vintage to work. It's too messy and it gets too dirty. He needs durable, work clothes for that. But whenever we go out or whenever we are like off of work and just hanging out together, then he does wear vintage. Okay, I am scrolling through. I know I'm behind. I'm sorry. Let's see. A fashion show video of all vintage outfits. That would be very, very long. Oh, thank you. Anything from the Victorian era? Let's see. Desi says, I guess I can ask this here. Might have been asked before. I don't think so. Do you have anything from the Victorian era? Let's see. No, I don't think that I do. I do have. I found out that vanity set that I recently got was probably 1920s, but I think that's probably the oldest thing that I have. I don't think I have anything from Victorian era. Hello. Yes, my kitty, she cannot handle it. She has to be up here. That's Alice. How do people react when they see or meet you for the first time? Are they impressed? Well, I mean, I don't know. People are very complimentary for the most part. Whenever I meet them for the first time, they are usually complimentary. Sometimes people don't understand. They ask if I'm in a play or if I am going to a show or something, or if I'm like in a costume. But that's okay. They just don't understand. Ooh, let's see. Pandora says, I have a vintage inbox Stimulax scalp massager gadget from 1965. Ooh, that would be a fun one to try out, wouldn't it? Fun. Lindsay loves the idea of bringing my husband to the channel. Thank you. I love your channel. You guys should check her out. It's a charming life. Lindsay and her husband do some really, really cute cottage living and like kind of slow living videos. I love that. Is your movie theater open now? Yes, we just opened on Thursday. So we're just open in a real limited capacity, just a few show times a day, one show basically in each auditorium a day so that we have plenty of time to clean, and like we still have regulations on how many people can be in the building at a time. So very, very slow, but at least we're open, right? Oh, let's see. I do love Christine McConnell on YouTube. Yes, she's awesome. Patricia, mom died 1 year ago from dementia. She suffered with it for 10 years. Oh gosh, I'm so sorry, Patricia. My heart goes out to you. It is just such a devastating, devastating disease, and to have to live with it for that long, I'm so sorry. Would you rather live like the 40s or the 20s? Probably the 40s, I think. I would say. Best places online to buy cheap vintage clothing. Like I said, you can check Etsy and eBay. Sometimes you get lucky, but the cheapest is always going to be thrifting. Oh yeah, hey, Grandpa. Let's see. I am. Let's see. Does your grandma ever have little moments of clarity? Yes, she does. It's just hit and miss. And the thing is that's been really hard lately is that we have not been able to visit because of COVID. And so she does a lot better. Like when my mom and I were going almost every single day, my mom was going every day. I was going almost every single day. And we would stay for at least like 2 or 3 hours every day. And that's when she was doing the best. Whenever we are able to go every day and visit and talk about things and talk with her every day, then she does a lot better. But unfortunately, where we haven't been able to go, I'm just so worried that when we go back, she's going to be declined again. But she remembers me almost the most. She calls my mom. She thinks my mom is her sister. She says, "Oh, my sister's here," but she remembers me as her Lacey. Let's see. Hi from London. Hello. Trying to read through. Do your coworkers make comments about your vintage style? I can never tell if mine are making fun of me or not when they compliment me. No, usually I think they're all just kind of used to it. They've all basically either worked with me long enough to where they've seen the transition into vintage, or they've been hired on by me looking like this. So they all just they go with the flow, I think. Let's see. Thanks so much. How's COVID affecting your life? Oh gosh. I'm lucky that I'm in a fairly small town in a small area to where so far it's not been too bad, but it's so funny because now that things have started opening up and there seem to be safer in other places, I feel like now is when it's like kind of hitting our area, which is not great. So I'm being as careful as I can, and whenever I go out, I wear my mask. When I work, I wear my mask and gloves and just all of those things that we're supposed to do. And I don't go out very much. I just basically go to work and stay home. So when I go out, let's see, when I go out in public, how let's see, what's the public reaction when they see you? Some people stare. That's all right. I don't know. Some people give compliments. Let's see. Sophia says, my grandma doesn't have Alzheimer's or dementia, but she did have a stroke when I was 9. Her memory's been deteriorating ever since. She still remembers most things. Ugh. Yeah, the memory thing. And it's just so hard not to take it, not to feel bad. Like, it's not your fault. It's not their fault that they don't remember you. It's not anything personal. That's the disease, What's your favorite personality trait of your grandmother? I think probably her generosity. She would always say, I'm a giver. I just like to give. And that's what she did. She would always, if she had money, she would give it to me or give it to my son, her grandson, or, people on the street or anything. She would always be the one to give. Let's see. What decade was I really born in? I was born in the 80s. I'm an 80s kid. Okay, sorry. I'm just scrolling through, and then I'm gonna get to some stories here soon too. I'm doing my best to answer questions first. Your mom is Tiffany says her mom is part of an Alzheimer's test experiment. She's only 65 with no symptoms. She's happy to be a part of finding a cure. Wow, that's awesome. The more research and the more testing and the more time spent on finding a cure for this disease, the better, because it is, I read it's the number 3 killer in the US. Is the number 3 cause of death is Alzheimer's and dementia. That's a pretty big deal. Let's see. Ariel, that's funny. That's awesome. Your friend knows you very well, huh? Check out Jessica Fawcett. I do subscribe to her. Jessica Out of the Closet. Yes. She's awesome. For a living, yep, I manage a theater. Thank you. My friend Elizabeth is going to help me answer some questions as well if she knows the answer. Lindsay, I don't know how long people usually live with Alzheimer's. I don't really know. And there's really not much as far as medicine goes either. It's like once you reach a certain point, it's just, there's nothing they can really do. And that's kind of where my grandma's at. For a while there, they were giving her, they gave her some medicine, they prescribed medicine, and it was supposed to stop her brain deterioration or slow it. But the problem is that my grandma didn't want to take it because it said on the bottle that it might make her dizzy. And she said, I'm already dizzy enough and I don't want to take that. And I told my grandpa, why don't you just peel that label off? She won't know. just peel it off, or just tell her it's Tylenol. Like, ugh. Yeah, so she wouldn't ever take it. She wouldn't take the medicine. How long have I been married? I've been married a long time. We just had our anniversary. In fact, I got married very young, and we just celebrated our 20-year wedding anniversary. Let's see. How do your children feel about your lifestyle? I just have one son, and he is fine with it. Yeah, it's just who we are, I guess. I don't live in LA. I live in southern Utah, actually. My glasses are from my friend. They belong to her grandmother. And I just had my eye doctor put the lenses in. Okay, let's see. My son does not dress vintage. Sorry, I'm just skimming through as much as I can. Okay. All right. I think that at this point that we will go ahead with some stories, because I'd love to share with you some of my great friends were kind enough to share their stories with me about their loved ones that have battled with Alzheimer's. So I'm going to pull those up really quick and read them to you. So let's see. Here, okay, this first story is my great friend. She is such a sweetheart. Her name is Rachel. She is on Instagram, Rachel Marquez Actress. And I am going to read you the story she sent. This is her sweet grandma. So pretty. And she just did a recreation of these photos on her Instagram. So you will have to check that out. That is her grandma. Okay, this is what Rachel says about her grandma. My grandmother was born in a small village near Dereham in the northeast of England. She was the youngest of 11 children, and during World War II, she met my grandfather, whose outfit was stationed in the air base behind her in this photo. Oh, wow. Taken in June 1944. So you can kind of see back there, the air base, 1944. They met on a blind date at a dance in one of the sweetest stories ever. Aw. And my father fondly remembers them continuing to dance through the rest of their marriage. They were married in December of 1944, and when the war was over, she and my dad traveled to be with my grandfather in Chicago, traveling by boat from Southampton. She and my grandfather then moved to Janesville, where my dad spent a lot of his childhood and adolescence. As a child, I remember my family taking many summer trips to visit my grandparents, and my favorite memories of my grandmother were centered around food. Yes. We loved making homemade tortillas with her. My grandfather was Mexican, so she had to learn from her sisters-in-law how to cook for him, and Thunder Cake, a chocolate chiffon cake we make to enjoy in the basement while we listen to the violent thunderstorms outside. Oh, that cake sounds awesome. When I was still little, I remember we got a call from my grandmother one evening. She was scared because she said there was a strange man in her house. When we got her to put this man on the phone, it turns out it was my grandfather. As I grew up, I watched the disease slowly claim her until she was an unrecognizable shadow of the amazing lady she once was. She finally passed away on my 16th birthday. Aw. As an adult, I'm so sorry that I didn't get a chance to know her as an adult, especially as I've moved back to her home country. My dad says that my moving to England is a bit like my grandmother finally getting to go home in a way. I cherish the photos and stories of her and my grandfather, as well as the few items of hers I have, including 2 pairs of her gloves and some of her jewelry. I always think of her when I wear them. Aw, thanks so much, Rachel, for sharing your grandma's story. Oh, gosh, you're right. It's just so devastating to read those things and hear about those. Okay. Church bells. That was my grandfather clock. Sorry, you guys. I guess I should have stopped it. I'll answer if you. Is that cat my only cat? No, I have 4 cats. 4 lovely kitties. Sorry, guys. I am a very emotional person. I'm a very empathetic person, and so I just cry all the time. That's fine. Thank you, Rachel, for sharing your grandma's story. It was beautiful. She is beautiful, and so are you. And I'm sure that she's proud of you and so happy that you have moved to her hometown. That's so neat. That's awesome. Okay. Whew, let's regroup. All right. So now I am going to share my friend Annabelle's story of her grandma, and she is on Instagram as well at Annabelle Swell. And this is her grandma. Look how cute. Oh my gosh, she is so cute. That's some good hair right there. And this is Annabelle with her grandma. Look how cute. Her grandma is beautiful. She has beautiful dimples. Okay, we are going to talk about Annabelle's grandma. Okay, she says, my family has been living for 4 generations in the Bronx, New York City, and 2 adjacent brownstones. I grew up with my great-grandma living with my mom and I had the bedroom that my grandma grew up in. Oh my gosh, that's so neat. My grandparents lived next door to me and were built-in babysitters and second parents to me. My grandma was a great school teacher, a storyteller, loved people and children, and everyone in the neighborhood knew her. You couldn't walk a half a block without her stopping to chat or someone hollering to her from across the street. She was a delightful extrovert with a captivating smile. Yeah, I can see it in those pictures. So pretty. She and my grandpa inherited a house from her uncle out in Southampton, Long Island, and they moved out there full-time in their old age. For an extrovert, a sleepy town did not provide her with the same outlets for daily conversation. She befriended the mailman, the grocery store checkout clerks, the tellers at the bank, and would bring them all bags of cookies. Oh my gosh, that's so cute, and that is exactly my grandma for sure. Okay. In her late 80s, she had temporary arteritis. She had a protruding vein on her right temple and took prednisone for it. She also had Paget's disease in skull, which caused raging headaches. Oh, we think having a TIA, transient ischemic attack, sorry, I don't know how to say that, or a stroke caused the dementia. Whatever caused it in her last few years, she spoke very little, lost her appetite, and stopped remembering who people were. She would call me by my mother's name, Carol, and was the shadow of the vibrant person she used to be. She would tire easily and was often laying down resting when I would visit. As someone I consider a second mom, a huge influence on my upbringing, it was so difficult to see her degrade in that way and not know me. But in my memories, she's still the outgoing, charismatic woman with a sweet tooth and a smile for everyone. Her name was Clara. Oh, thank you, Annabelle. Thank you for sharing your story. Oh, your grandma sounds wonderful. Oh, and what a family history. I love it. That is so neat that and she's posted on Instagram before. I saw her mom in those brownstones in New York, in the Bronx. That's so neat to have such a long-standing family history. And in those same homes and growing up in the room that your grandma grew up in, that is so neat. I love it. Oh, sorry, guys. Oh, okay. Let's see. Let's see, I'll read some of you guys' comments. We got pictures of 4 generations of the lady's hands before my granny passed. Oh, that's so great. That's awesome. I have one of those too. It's me as a baby, my mom, my grandma, and my great grandma all together in a picture, and that's so neat. Let's see. Well, I know that a lot of you have been affected and have loved ones affected by Alzheimer's and dementia. I wanted to do this fundraiser and just do something. Something to honor my grandma, something to raise awareness, and do the best that I can to do something. I'm a woman of action. I don't like sitting by and just feeling sorry about things. I like to do and try to do something. Oh, thanks, guys. Sorry, I'm a ball baby for sure. So there is actually a really, really neat children's book. My sister-in-law gave it to me because her grandma passed away from Alzheimer's, and I'm gonna show it to you. Let's see. I'm gonna see if I can grab it because I feel like it's really, really cute and really helpful. Especially if you have maybe some younger children that are struggling with Alzheimer's. It is called the Remember Balloons. I don't know if you guys have heard of it, but I'll grab it really quick if I can. I've got more kitties coming in. Okay. Try not to bump things too much. Sorry. Oh, thanks so much for being here, Joe. You are the sweetest ever. Thank you. Okay. This is the book, The Remember Balloons. I know it's kind of backwards, but I would totally recommend if you have children that are struggling to understand about Alzheimer's, this is a wonderful book that you can read to them. It's so cute. It talks about a little boy and his grandpa and the balloons, and kind of like the grandpa's balloons are floating away, and it's like his memories, basically. And then in the end, it's all of the grandpa's balloons are gone. But the grandson still has all of them. So that's part of the reason why I wanted to call this fundraiser Remembering For You, because we can hold those memories and hold those people dear and remember for them. Oh gosh, we're all crying together, right? Oh, let's see. I know now all of the kitties are gathering around. So you guys, does anyone else have any stories that they want to share about their loved one that is maybe struggling with Alzheimer's or dementia? Let's see. Maria says, my grandmother and my aunt, which that's my grandma's daughter, both had Alzheimer's. They have passed, unfortunately. My mom, dad, and I took care of my grandma. That was very difficult. Oh my goodness. Yes, my heart goes out to you. It takes a very special person. It takes a very special person to be able to take care for someone with dementia and Alzheimer's. It is, yeah, the kitties are coming. It is like it's a 24/7 job. Even before my grandma went to the nursing home, even just visiting her, it's exhausting. It's emotionally exhausting, physically exhausting, because it is the constant thing. My grandma would she would wander the house. She couldn't sit still for anything. she's always a goer and a doer, and so she just wouldn't sit still, and she was constantly wanting to move things around. I don't know. It's just yeah, it's a big job to care for someone with dementia. Johnny Cash, I don't know where Johnny Cash is. He's sleeping somewhere, I guess. I see everyone but him right now. My DNA test for your grandma. We did do that for my grandma a couple of Christmases ago. They got her the Ancestry DNA test, and I'm really glad that they did. I haven't done mine yet, but I wouldn't mind doing it. Ariel says, my great-grandmother always smiled when she saw my sisters and I, even though she struggled to understand who we were. Just the bubbly presence of children brightened her days. Yeah, that's true. And my grandma, she does get excited to see us when my mom and I go to visit. And she also really likes music, especially the oldies. Whenever we go, we try to put on her CDs in her room of the oldies and the 50s music, and that's what she loves, and she remembers it and she sings it, and she does a little dance in her wheelchair. It's so cute. So cute. Yeah, it's always a cat party over here, that's for sure. Great. Mia, I'm so sorry about your great uncle. Alzheimer's, turning 95. Wow. Okay, Nini's Life says, here's a lovely story. My grandma used to make beautiful ball gowns in her youth and was a fabulous seamstress and artist. When she passed, we found books with the most beautiful drawings. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Oh, that would be so neat if you could make those or have someone make those. Oh, that would be awesome. Oh, thanks so much, Riley. Let's see. Gogo Micah says, do you have a favorite vintage meal or dessert? I don't know. I've really been loving pie lately, so I've been making a lot of pies from a vintage cookbook, and yeah, so those are great. That strawberry pie, so I haven't put out the video for that yet. I made a strawberry pie using my vintage cookbook, and it was so good. Spoiler alert. Let's see. When my brother-in-law's uncle was alive and had Alzheimer's, it was hard because he ended up seeing two different versions of his own life. It's honestly scary. Yeah, honestly, I think that's the very worst part is how scary it is for the person. Because like usually when we go visit my grandma in the home, in the nursing home, she is usually okay, but then it's called sundowners, so sundowning, and so when it starts to get dark outside, then people with dementia and Alzheimer's tend to kind of go downhill at that point, and it really affects them mentally and what they're able to process and do. And so usually when we stay until after dinner, it starts to get dark, and that's when my grandma, she gets really scared, and she'll be sitting there, and I can tell like her shift in mood happens, and she just sits there, and then she looks at me and says, I'm scared, and she just she'll cry and cover her face, and like, Grandma, it's okay, you don't have to be scared, like, we're here. But whew, yeah, it's rough seeing them scared and not being able to help and not being able to make them feel better is just hard. Does your grandma talk to relatives who have passed? Not that I have seen, but I have heard that she's talked about her mom, seeing her mom and being there, but not like in front of me, if that makes sense. So yeah, I think she does a little bit. Tiffany, my grandma warned me that she was forgetting. Since we have Alzheimer's in the family, she told me I might forget you. Don't be scared. I think she was telling herself, don't be scared. Yeah. It's so hard seeing, kind of like what my friends had said, seeing someone that was so strong and so vibrant reduced to almost childlike. And it's like whenever I go, I'm the adult and she's the child. Let's check on the fundraiser. That is a good idea. I will go into the app and I will see where we're at. And we'll check it out. Let's see. Oh, Elizabeth's on it. Thank you, Elizabeth. So we're at 1903 of 2000. Oh, we're so close, you guys. If you have not already donated, every dollar helps. Wouldn't it be so cool if we got to the goal during this live stream? Riley, I'm so sorry. Grandpa's in the hospital. I'm sending you all my love. Ariel says, my grandma, on the other hand, towards the end of her life, developed dementia, would tell us she would see my grandpa, who predeceased her by about 20 years. That was emotional, yes. Oh, I hope it was a comfort to her to see him and not like a scary thing. Wendy, your grandma was serious all the time. It was hard seeing her watching cartoons and just smiling. She had no idea who I was. Oh gosh, yes. my grandma will not watch TV. She will not sit still long enough. I mean, she will now because she's in a wheelchair and she can't really go anywhere, but she doesn't like to watch TV. Oh, $97. We're so close. Oh, Ariel, that's so good. I'm glad that was a comfort for her and not a scary thing. So I don't know if this person is on this live stream or not, but one of the folks that donated before Thursday wrote a very, very heartwarming story with their donation, and I'm going to share that with you. So she wrote that her mom passed away from Alzheimer's I think she said it was in 2014. And since then, she was saying that whenever you find a dime, like just laying around out like on the ground, whatever, that is like a gift from heaven from your loved one, and to know that they are thinking of you. And so she has been finding dimes since 2014 and keeping them in a jar. And she was waiting for the right thing to do with those dimes, and she donated them, and that was her donation for this fundraiser. And what a beautiful way to honor her sweet mom and her dimes from heaven. Let's see. Cindy says, I worked in a nursing home for 6 years. There was a Catholic church across the street. A lady told me, it went away. Let's see, I gotta scoot it up. A lady told me that the nuns would get me and not to sit on her dock. Oh no. That's okay. Let's see. Yeah, just you guys as being here is such a good support. Thank you so much. Oh, it's nice to see you guys. Okay, Clifford ran into my grandmother at a store one day and could tell she was struggling to remember who I was. That was the beginning of our family's long goodbye. Yeah, that's what that's terrible. That's what they call Alzheimer's, is the long goodbye. My friend told me every time the wind blows, your loved ones in heaven are saying hello. Oh gosh. I think they must be saying hello a lot because it's very windy in my town all the time. Oh yeah. Thank you everyone for sharing your wonderful stories and being here. It's one of those things where you don't really understand until it's something that you've experienced. And even though we kind of knew that this is coming, because I mean, it's been a good 3 to 5 years or so where my grandma's been forgetful, or she would like ask the same question multiple times, or she would like say the same thing over and over, tell me the same story over and over. And so we knew that it was coming, but I just didn't realize how hard it would be to see it happen. Oh no, you guys are just the best. Thank you. Anything that you've contributed already, I'm so very grateful for. And yes, Ariel, exactly. That we can come together and share these things and know that we understand each other, right? Ugh. Yes. Hello. Well, you guys, we're almost at an hour. It has been so lovely chatting with all of you. Let's see, a few more stories. My grandma had dementia, but I wasn't around her in the end. She was out in Florida. Hearing all these stories, I think it was probably better that way. That's the thing. It's so hard because it's so emotional every time that you go to visit them, because I want to visit my grandma, but it's also very hard emotionally on me every time I go. It's very hard afterwards. I usually cry. I usually, have a hard rest of the day after that, because it is very emotional. Oh, you even cry pretty. Thanks, Wendy. I don't feel like I do, but thank you. Oh gosh. Oh, thanks so much. Let's see. Yes, everyone, sending everyone all of my love. It's been like a wonderful chat, but an emotional one, and I just sure appreciate you for sharing this with me. Let's see. Cynthia says, what's everyone's experience in terms of timing? My mother's 81. Her dementia has increased over the years, but is now getting worse. I just want to prepare. I don't have an answer for you on that one. Maybe somebody else can help out, but as far as my grandma goes, I know it's been coming on for probably the last 5 years, but really this last year is where things have really accelerated to where like the beginning of last year, she was walking around, she was talking, everything was good. And as of now, she's in a wheelchair, and she still talks, she still knows me, but it's very limited on what she can do. So I'm not sure. Oh, I'm your favorite YouTuber. Thank you so much. That's so sweet of you. Let's see. Let's see. Sandra says 54 years ago, my grandfather was in assisted living. He had dementia, but I'm sure it was Alzheimer's. My mom and I took him riding on Sunday afternoons. Oh, that's wonderful that you were able to spend that time with him. Mohammed has a question. With Alzheimer's, do patients forget to eat and drink and basic reflexes too? Yes. Eventually, they forget. A lot of them forget how to swallow, and so they can't eat and drink properly anymore. And that's kind of when it's really just starting to be the beginning of the end for sure. So they can, be on feeding tube and things like that. But yeah, that's really hard. Alice, where are you going, bud? Let's see. Shanna, did you create your hair and dress corsage? No, my good friend Sarah made them. She's on Instagram at Pinup Curl, and I highly recommend her. Flowers are so beautifully made. Riley, I'm so sorry about your great grandpa. It's so hard, and it's such a change, and it's such just a thing that you're never prepared for, even though you know that that's coming, even though you know that people are going to get old and people are going to pass away, but you're never ready for it to happen. Ugh. Okay. Well, you guys, I thank you for being here. Thank you for all of your kind words and your stories. I am just sending you all my love. And if you have not donated, to the Alzheimer's Foundation fundraiser for today. We're so close to our goal, like $75 away. If you could make a donation, I would sure appreciate that. It'd be amazing to hit that fundraising goal. And if you have already donated, if you would want to share, maybe share it with your friends and family that have been affected by this disease, that that maybe they would get the opportunity to donate, that would be amazing as well. Thank you so much for being here. I know it was a little bit rocky getting started, and I will do a private live stream for those early donators, because I did have technical difficulties during that, and I apologize. But thank you, Wendy. Yeah, I worry because I knew that I would cry. But that's the way it goes, right? So thank you again. Feel free to share my video of recreating my grandma's look, because that's where I talk about the fundraiser and the donations, or you can just share the donation link, and that means the world to me. And just you being here and chatting with me and sharing this time means the world to me as well. And I thank you, and I will see you soon. We will have to do this again sometime. I think that would be fun. So thank you, and I will see you all very soon. Goodbye.